Oh my goodness. Seriously, I have to just do it. It's like I can tell myself I don't have to think about things that don't matter.
I was designed to do those things. How the hell does this guy know this about me?
It's impossible to not see.
When Dan read for my sister, she was like, he's psychic. She's like, how did you know that?
Yes.
She's like, it's human design, guys. Like, it's just a testimony of how legit it is.
Seriously, Danny was like FBI or CIA. He's like, how the hell does this guy know this about me?
Having my chart read, there were just thing after thing after thing that I was just like, wow, that's me.
This man is reading me and I've never met him before.
I was in the midst of one of the biggest emotional waves I've ever been in my life, and he saved my life.
It seems like everybody has the same reaction. It's that aha moment, and they want to find out more. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Human Design Advantage podcast. My name is Jen, and decoding the matrix for us is Danny Guru.
Jennifer, good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you too. Happy Sunday. It is February 12th, 2023. And today we are on episode 38, which is part 2. We're going to be wrapping up the throat center.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be finishing off the other gates. So
I think we left off at gate number 56, as I recall.
Yes, we have the bottom gates to do this week.
Well, yeah, the right side, and then along the bottom.
Yes, 35, 12, 45, 33, 8, and 31.
So we got to 56 last week. We left
Yes.
off, so 35 is where we left off at. Okay.
Yes, I believe we did. We
Ooh,
wrapped
yeah.
up that whole side, the side and the top.
Well, I'm glad we're finishing it up because this makes us, this puts us at really getting to every center. We've gotten to every center. We've done each thing. I can't believe we forgot the throat center. Or I did. I don't know if you did, but I did.
I did. Thank you, Savannah, for reminding and bringing that up. I did forget about the throat center, which is the most important center that we should be talking about. Because all of the roads lead to Rome, like you say.
Yeah, they do. They do indeed. And so I just thought this would be great. It being just before Valentine's Day, I would have loved to deal with the love language of each gate. Or Savannah had come up with another great. I already did a few memes on what are the love themes of each type. How to, I thought that would be, but it's just sort of not in the cards. And so I'll attempt to put in a little bit of Valentine's, what might the love language be of each of the gates that we have left, but it'll just be in passing. Like what are they into as they try to communicate? Really, the love in humanity is what is it all about as we attempt to commune with the other.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes so many forms, and I think it'd be interesting. Let's see what comes out, I guess.
Yeah, let's see what comes out.
I have no idea what I'm going to say. So same slide as last week, right? We just pick right up where we left off.
Absolutely. My mouse disappeared. There we go. It's techie. It's like glitchy today, the tech is.
Yeah, my laptop is making some strange noises, by the way. So
I had like some video pop up on my phone. I don't even know where it was coming from. Just on the home screen, I was like, okay, we're gonna go. We're going to roll with it today.
I'm going to roll with this today. So as we were dealing before, the throat has all these voices. The throat is the center of our manifestation. We all are driven to move through this thyroid and parathyroid system that is really the controller of all the systems in the body. And it's where we articulate. And so we left off at gate 35, and gate 35's voice says, I feel or not. It's just, I feel. Now, that's very abstract. So this channel, gate 35, would go down to 36, the channel of transitoriness, this jack of all trades. And it's emotional. So it's an emotional voice. And what the lesson being learned over all of time with these gates are, with these voices are, how do we get through it to find the right balance between what it is or not? Notice as we've gone, every gate has been this or not, a thing or not, I am now or not. 35, I feel. Normally what it's saying is I feel like a change. And so the love language in that could appear confusing to somebody who doesn't like change in the relationship. So if you have a 35 in your relationship, and your partner has a gate 35, especially if it's in a defined center, they're looking at anticipating things. They have anticipations of things. They grow expectations. They feel like something new, a change, and it's experiential. So gate 35 says, normally it says, I feel like something different. I feel like a change or not. And as it grows through the life, what it finally can say is, well, no, I've been there, I've done that. I don't feel like a change this time. I don't feel like trying to bring something new. It's called progress, the gate of change of something new. And it's the end of the experiential process that started with hunger and desire and fantasy and all of this, transitory intimacy is what it is. It's also part of the cross of consciousness. Consciousness is woven in through here, 35, 5, 64, 63. What it says is consciousness is all about experiencing the rhythm, gate 5, the patterns of the rhythm that we both have abstractly considered in the past and logically look towards in the future. And our consciousness can sort of be wrapped up in, if you put all those together, we can do that. So I feel like a change or not. I feel like something new, and it's a manifesting channel. So look out. If you have the whole channel, this thing is manifesting, even if it's in a generator, By the way, this channel can only be in a generator or a manifester. This channel,
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to ask you about that.
Right. It can't be in a projector, or that projector would become a manifester, and it obviously cannot be in a reflector. There are no channels. So this gate is highly manifested on the plane. Either the generators are generating the juice for it, so that's a buzz. You got a comment back there?
Well, this channel would make it a manifesting generator.
It would make a manifesting generator if they had a sacral define, and if there's no sacral define, it guarantees it's a manifester.
And if you didn't have this channel and you had a sacral define, you would just be a generator.
You'd just be
unless you didn't have any of the other manifesting channels.
Right, going straight to the throat, or a connection that even snakes through a couple of channels to get. If the sacral connects to the throat through even 2 channels, it's a manifesting generator. So it doesn't matter how many snakes and turns. If a motor goes to a throat and you're a generator, you're a manifesting generator. So it's manifesting what it feels, and it's manifesting the crisis of what is gate 36. So it often feels like a change. It feels like something new, but its wisdom comes in this design. By design, progress cannot exist in a vacuum and is dependent upon interaction. Well, it's in a collective stream. Of course, it's dependent upon interaction. Its requirement is I share what I feel or not. Let me share my feelings with you. I've lost my feelings. Let me share that with you too. So gate 35 can be very turbulent. It's loaded with expectations, and it's loaded. 35 really is the voice of, I would expect this. I'm anticipating this. And I guess it would be a great voice of emotional disappointment as well. So again, if you want to find love language in this, and your partner has a 35, when they're emotionally disappointed, you can feel for them because they had all this genetic energy that was expecting stuff, and you can help them learn you can't always get what you want. That's the secondary voice of gate 35. Its wisdom is can't always get what you want because this progress does not exist in a vacuum. Can't get what you want because it's dependent upon others as well. Can't share it with one person. It's like one hand clapping. You don't hear it. So that's gate 35. Any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, and we don't have any comments.
Yeah, it's a powerful force moving our experiential way, and it's just a powerful. Donald Trump has this whole channel, for instance. George Bush had this whole channel. I'm thinking of presidents that had this whole channel. I don't know what other. I know those two did. And they're explosive in both of them. One of them went boom into a big fat war, and one of them is just relatively explosive, as we see. Gate 12. So we're moving down the gate. So we were at consciousness. It's nice to notice that I'm going to try and remember the incarnation crosses for these. 56 before was the incarnation cross of the laws. And as we move around clockwise on this, we go from the laws to consciousness. And then consciousness moves into the cross of Eden, being thrown out of the garden into real life. So gate 12 is about caution. So what would let me get to gate 12 here. It's one of these stop codons. It's again, part of a manifesting channel. Gate 12 would go down to gate 22, and it would make the whole channel of openness, the grace to listen, and the awareness of when to stop the standstill. Because the voice of gate 12 is, again, a manifesting voice. These 3 ones right in a row are all about manifestation. And it's I try, and the voice says, I know I can try or not. So when they say, oh, I'm trying, yeah, I'm doing this now, that's manifestation. And the or not is standstill.
This is my manifesting channel.
It is, and I have a gate 12 as well. It's the name of the gate. The old I Ching called it standstill, the gate of caution. And it's this quality of restraint. So gate 12 is restrained because it knows it can try. It knows it can do. I know I can do that or not. And so when I do, now I am manifesting as a generator. Again, these 3 channels were coming up on 35, 12, and 45 as they go into the channel. They are only a generator or a manifester, manifesting generator or a manifester, because the other types wouldn't have it. So the quality of restraint and the importance of meditation, caution is the meditation, standstill, doing nothing. Gate 12 is fickle. I do nothing. I'm not doing it. And the importance of meditation and inaction when confronting temptation. So manifesting stuff is a temptation. I'm tempted to go do this. So I know I can do that, maybe. It's got to be in the mood. It's in the individual stream and the individual circuitry. So it's by its very definition is mutative. Gate 12 is where we first started to articulate. It's where about between 70 and 90,000 years ago, humanity underwent an important mutation, more like 90,000 years ago, the dropping of the larynx. This was charted back in time before the dropping of the larynx. A person could breathe and take in water at the same time, for instance. And then when the larynx dropped, those 2 things had to separate. So the dropping, as always, these important mutations are brought through the mother. They're brought through the yin. And so most moms know, if you've ever breastfed, that your baby can gurgle away and make noises and be drinking off your breast at the same time.
Yes. Well, even, if you get into water birthing, you can have a baby in water and it be okay until it comes up and gets the air.
Right. And so
that makes complete sense. I mean, you live in water for 9 months of your life.
Right. And think about it. And so if you have a gate 12 in your body graph, as the larynx start to drop in that first 6 months to year of life, that's, your babies are spitting up because they were previously able to breathe and take nutrients and nourishment from the mother, and then the larynx drop, and then they're not gurgling and making sounds at the same time that they're breastfeeding. It sort of happens in that first 6 months or a year. So anyways, this mutation that took place in us, the opposition of gate 12 on the wheel is gate 11. And gate 12 is our one of our most powerful articulating. It is our most powerful articulating gate. It's that gate of the stranger of consequence where I know I can make a difference here or not. So suddenly someone with a 2212 or just a gate 12 in a defined throat center is suddenly called into action, and now they're articulating and becoming consequential and making an impact. Gate 12 is here to make an impact and mutate and change the other. And gate 11 across the other side of the wheel, that would be part of this incarnation cross, 11 and 12, gate part of the cross of Eden, is the ideas. So once the articulation opened up, the conceptualizing of all of our amazing ideas out of the ajna opened up with it. It's like a string going across the wheel. Once you pluck the string, both gates start to wake up. Both gates start to move into action. So I know I can try or not. I know I can do this or not, and the or not is always if I'm in the mood. And the caution in confronting temptation, the caution is the grace on the other side. It's emotional. The caution is, do I enter into the emotional field with this person? Because gate 22 on the other side makes an emotional definition, and boom, you're in an emotional wave. And now everything is different. And so caution before you enter the fire of the emotional wave. I mean, we all know what that wave is like when it's way up or way down. It's on fire. Right? Smiley. Hi, Jen.
I know this. I know this. I know these dates, and I know this channel all too well.
Yep. Jennifer's got the whole channel on her body graph. I just have a gate 12. We both know what it's like to caution. Our caution will, gate 12 will just shut up. I'm not saying, no, I'm not participating. I don't like it. Gate 12 is very fickle. I'm not in the mood. I don't know. Don't ask a great gate 12 to be certain until it's ready to speak per its strategy and authority that I can or cannot. I will or won't.
I want to say something about gate 12 because I have a defined ego too. So what I am learning is that sometimes when I will commit to something, I may not feel that way the day that commitment comes around. So I am being cautious of that because I have a defined ego. Then I get into, I've got to follow through because I said I was going to do it. So I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And most of the time that when if I don't feel like going and I do go, it does turn out to be okay. But I am cautious of that because I have to be in the mood to really do something, and I'm realizing that a lot about my body. So you guys who are watching this, or you may have this gate, you may have a defined ego as well, just be sure to listen to what your body is saying and know that if you don't feel like doing something, you're not going to be able to push yourself to do it. But just keep that in mind, like a little tip.
Isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth? So with that defined ego, ultimately keeping that commitment ends up feeling good when it's all over, usually, unless it truly wasn't right for you. And then gate 12 will say, I told you so. But it's the awareness out of gate 22 that is aware of I told you so, the clarity of it, but gate 12 does the speaking of it. Gate 12 is meant to walk into a room of strangers and impact them with something mutative in the moment, upon a first meeting, first second, first moment, first handshake. Suddenly, gate 12 makes its impact because the caution and the standstill go away and the impact comes out. It's the individual's voice. The individual has 4 voices on the throat center. However, it's only got one that's this manifested voice, and it's gate 12, and it's meant to articulate. So, and its foundation is the monk, this withdrawal that can only be maintained with communal support. It just wants to withdraw, and then be cautious. So, if you have gate 12, you're not always in the mood, and if it's in an open center, you're still not always in the mood. It's still working. It's there. And then you're confronted with a temptation, and then suddenly you don't know. If you have it in an open center, start to realize it's not always consistent. So when you don't consistently articulate, that's not a problem. Follow your strategy and authority, and that which you're supposed to articulate will come out just fine every time. It's when we get into our head and start thinking about it. And lastly, the love language of gate 12 is just that of fickleness. I'm in the mood or not. If your sweetie has a gate 12, your partner has a gate 12, and they're not in the mood, let them be not in the mood. The safer they feel about being not in the mood is the quickest way for you to allow them to be in the mood with you. If they're never in the mood with you, then, that's a clue. Maybe you're not in the right partnership. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just get to the facts, because gate 12 will slice you up with all the facts. It'll just come out with the facts. Again, articulating, manifested, moody, meant to be mutative, and it shows up in a pulse because it's in the individual circuitry. So you put all that stuff together and you've got for a big impact. So moving on to gate 45. Gate 45 is the possessive, and it's this voice of the tribe. It's the only voice of the tribe. None of the other channels of the tribe go to the voice, go to the throat. Only 45, 21. So this is this gate will articulate and speak its possessive voice. I have or not. I have or I don't have. What do we have? My tribe has or it doesn't have. That's a pretty big deal. And it's always trying to speak for the tribe. And its name, you're going to love this name. People see gate 45 as this authoritarian. It's always trying to be in control of things. While technically it has an aspect of that, all it's really trying to do is educate the tribe. It's called gathering together. That's what the old I Ching called it. The voice of the gatherer. I have the gathering. I have the will of the people or not.
I have the information to,
Right. And
I have this one too. See, there you go. I have.
It's natural. It's the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. That describes a tribe. Attract the tribe. The tribe is a whole bunch of like forces all in one place. Same tribe, same essential direction, right? Tribes go in their direction. And that natural beneficial attraction is about educating the tribe as to the tribe's ways, as to the ways of the nine-centered tribe, as to, what's the material in the tribe, to educate them as to what they need to have for success, to let the tribe know when they don't have enough material. And a good tribal leader will say, we don't have enough, and let the whole tribe know. A poor tribal leader hides it. And if gate 45 tries to hide the truth for too long, the tribe will turn on it because he's a bad leader, or she's a bad leader. And that person doesn't even have to be in a leadership role, and those around will turn on it if it's not giving out the right information. There's an expectation that you'll have the right information, that you'll have what's needed. The tribe wants to get going, and gate 45 doesn't have what we needed. Punish it, right? That would be an old way to look at what would happen with it. The new way is, no, it just doesn't have. So, love language. If your partner has, or you or your partner have a gate 45 in your body graph, that person is consumed with, and they're thinking about material possession. I have enough. I don't have enough. Our tribe has enough. That's and it can seem like an entitlement. I'm supposed to have this. That's when it starts to come out as the entitled voice. I'm supposed to have. No, you're not. Maybe you're supposed to have. If someone has a gate 45 and I feel that energy coming out, and they say, well, I'm supposed to have, and I'm looking at it, and I come out with, in the moment, if I'm not too worried about getting my head chopped off, and I come out in the moment with, because of my caution, and I come out in the moment and I say, well, you clearly don't have, so maybe you're not supposed to, maybe something's supposed to be different. So, because if you're supposed to have and you don't have, apparently that's how it's supposed to be, because look, you don't have. That's hard language for a 45 to hear, because they're supposed to have it.
Yeah, well, I have 45, and 45 is part of my incarnation cross.
Yep.
It's in my earth on my design side.
Yep. And so that puts the 64, 63 on the personality side, as I recall. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that means a few days earlier, it was the cross of consciousness. And think about the beauty of that cross. So it moves from consciousness. After consciousness comes dominion. After dominion, we move into rulership. So that which our consciousness has the progress and the rhythm to see, the patterns of consciousness are seen. Once the mental system figures it all out, we have to, someone has to take dominion over that consciousness. And once we figured all that out, the next step in the wheel is let's rule. Let's rule with consciousness. That's what the wheel says to do. In a nine-centered matrix, in our nine-centered bodies, let's rule with consciousness. our leaders got that all wrong currently. They don't rule with consciousness. They rule with tribal vitriol against everybody else that's not in their tribe, and they try to pretend they're collective. That's meaning they're trying to share how it's good for everyone. Well, I call BS on all of that. Once you can rule with the humility that knows sometimes I don't have, inside a tribal nature that wants to educate in a nine-centered way, you will realize I just came off of the cross of consciousness. The next step in line was how to rule with consciousness. So you're doing a crappy job and you're all fired, name me a leader that's worth keeping. There's probably some. I'm sure, of course there's some. It's just that the ones that seem to have all the control over the planet, destroying everything, bad, very bad. And so they've lost, their 45s have lost their way, and they've stopped educating us, and they've started hiding everything from us. Welcome to black satanic cults, and welcome to, rituals and hidden things and hidden agendas that, hey, if our tribal 45 isn't speaking the right language and they're not gathering us together for the beneficial attraction of like forces, you know what the beneficial attraction of like forces are? Every human. We're all like forces. If you split up any 5,000 humans, there's hardly a dime's worth of difference between any of them in reality. On the surface, it'll show up in the design, but as we start to get lower and lower, they all have voices from the same department of planning, from the same base frequencies that go into the crystal of consciousness in the first place. We're quite the same, with some differences on the surface that we take very personally, and we act out. But our gate 45s have failed miserably, and I give them an F-, and unless there's a lower letter. If we add a G or H, let's do it for grading purposes, because they have failed miserably, and we don't have the information we need. So I have or I don't have, and when it has, and it is in its right self with its right strategy and authority according to its type, it will attract and gather together the forces that become beneficial to all the other forces. And what it will have is plenty. Gate 45 would like to have plenty, and then basically empower the rest of the tribe with it, give out its resources. So when we all get used to having a human tribe, Gate 45 won't seem so entitled and won't seem so bossy at times. It's not meant to be bossy, but if the person keeps feeling like I don't have, and they have a Gate 45 and it says I'm supposed to have, that's a conflict. That's a dilemma inside that person, and it can make them feel not so attractive. So if your partner goes through spells and they have a Gate 45 where it seems like this energy is pouring out and it doesn't feel that attractive to you, don't bring it up as that's not attractive. That'll just be one more thing that Gate 45 doesn't have, adding into their dilemma of their not self themes that start kicking. Just point in, hey, I see that you think that you're supposed to have, and you don't. Tell me about it. Does it hurt? If they're a generator, does it hurt? Just ask the question. That's a yes or no question. Suddenly, out it'll come. If they're a manifester, they'll impact you with their answer. If they're a reflector, they'll take a moment to reflect upon all that. If they're a projector, they'll be happy that you're focused in on them and they're allowing their focus to come back. If they're a projector, let them spill all of it. If they're a generator, let them respond. If they're a manifester, they may or may not be in the mood. Wait for it, because you can't make them. See what right? So look towards your partner's health of Gate 45, and instead of saying, well, I go through all this effort to love you, even though you're all of this, that's the phrasing that puts it in the negative. It's, well, instead of I love you despite that, it's just say, I'll love you through this. Because you'll come out the other side. You won't stay with I don't have. They're always a binary. You never stay on one. If we're in the binary of I have, this explains a lot, by the way. If we're in the binary, a part of the binary, it says I have, because I have everything. Oh, look at what I got. I got millions of dollars. I've got all this power. I have. You rarely run into I don't have as it relates to your material way, but the rest of the spirit of the nine-centered being is all squished. And lo and behold, our leaders have all made themselves filthy rich on our backs. So they always feel like they have, but what don't they have? The one thing they don't have is control of us. So it constantly makes them trying to get more and more and more and more. And they do it through the acquisition of money and material things, totally ignoring what the foundation of Gate 45 is. So if we've got this natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces, which is what it's supposed to be, as a foundation, what that's supposed to be is canvassing, the ability to promote and develop gathering together, canvassing, through the education of the uncommitted. The material direction lies in education. So the collective, they're pretending they're a collective. The tribal cabal that rules us is trying to pretend they're a collective. We do this for you. You know, we're sharing our great ideas with you. No, they've lost track of that. They're trying to canvass and promote basically the uncommitted through education. When they can't educate us, then they lie. They tried to educate us. Okay, hey, we rejected your education. Now that's a tribal process. The right tribal leader will adapt to that and be like, let's do it different. But I just find it funny that the foundation of all of this is called canvassing, to canvass the neighborhood. Basically, I canvass the neighborhood door-to-door sales. Let me educate you on this cool new product, on the solar sales, on whatever it is we're doing, on home security. Let me educate you on home security systems and why you need one as I knock door to door. Well, if it's an effective canvasser, you know, a week later and the neighbors are talking, they might speak a little bit about home security systems because the person educated them through canvassing. Well, the not self of that, yes. And so the not self of that is overzealousness that turns canvassing into proselytizing and possessiveness. It tends to alienate rather than to gather support. The drive for material that leads to aggressiveness. Does that sound like our 45s that are currently the Klaus Schwabs of this world? It doesn't matter whether he has a 45. 45's in the world. So everyone's trying to lead according to what they do or don't possess. And that's okay. We are on a material plane. I would like to possess enough food for tomorrow's meal, right? I would like to possess a working heater during the winter so that my house is warm. Let's possess some things, please. I'd like to possess a car so I can drive places. It's okay to want to possess certain things. When the not self of that comes along, it turns into aggressiveness. And this is where the authoritarian comes out and tries to chop off heads. And that describes what our current, leadership on this planet is doing. They suck at it. They're awful. So we spend a lot of time on 45 because I'm so mad at our leaders on this planet. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're not educating us.
No, well, of course they're not educating us. We know why. You just really explained why. They don't want us educated, but
at the risk of alienating some people who don't like Donald Trump, I've got many things I didn't care for about the style of the man. He's got the whole channel. And what has happened through the tenure, it's still happening even after he was out. As that tribal authority, he was an authoritarian. And I don't blame so many people for disliking that aspect of the man's character. But as it relates to education, somebody please point out to me, when have we had more internal individual expansion in education than we have in the past, 6 to 8 years? And just in the past, 3 years and 4 years, we haven't. This has been the most expansive time in human history as it relates to our education. So what to do? Other people will have this gate and we expect them to lead, period. I would like a leader that is also more finessed, but whatever. Moving on to gate 33. Gate 33.
It's another one I have. I have a lot of the bottom ones, the side and the bottom ones.
You have a gate 35 as well, John? I forget.
No, I have 56, 12, 45, and 33.
56, 12, 45, and 33. Okay, so we've left the cross of rulership and we're moving into the cross of the three ways. That sort of sums up each mutative, each calendar quarter of around the wheel, each quarter of the zodiac, shall I put. 33 is the expression of the way of remembering. There's 4 ways we gather together. Coming to meet really is what's on the other side. Oh, no, that's not what's on the other side. That's on the other side is 31, 33, and 30. Is that right? I got that wrong. That's okay. Never mind. But it's the cross of the 4 ways. And
It's 13 that's on the other side of it.
No, the other side of the wheel, the other side of 33 is 19. My bad. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to approach with what it remembers. Gate 33 has a voice that just says, I remember or not. And gate 33's purpose, it's one of the stop codons. It basically dead ends the story. It's there to finish the telling of the story. 56 above it was there to stimulate the story. And 33 is there to concretize that which was stimulated and that which was experienced. 33 concretizes in an explanation of some sort, a remembrance that is the collective experience of humanity. That's why when it's connected to gate 13, the listener below in the G center, the identity, our love pouring out in a direction through what we heard, meaning through the past, what has come to us, so because people have told us their secrets. The listener that then listens, gate 33 is then there to manifest. Everything on the throat is some form of manifestation, to manifest the voice of, hey, I remember. Let me tell you the rest of the story. This channel is the channel of the prodigal. Everyone loves to have the channel above, the channel of that storyteller, 5611, tell a story around the campfire. But when we really need to get the history right, we count on the prodigal, 13 and 33. Now, it can be both, I'm just saying, but when we want the historian to basically concretize it in a story that will pass generation to generation, 1333 is what does that. Before we could ever write anything down, these codons and this genetic expression in our human vehicles, in our human form, has been telling a story to pass down knowledge through the generations since humanity was articulating 90 to 100,000 years ago.
So whoever was in charge of like keeping records way back when probably had this channel.
Or would have
the historical records or whatever.
Yep, would have aspects of these things put into them. Absolutely. Would have these genetic constructs would be alive in them, and they'd be alive in their tribe, and they would be alive. And when the story stops being told, when the history stops being recounted, the tribe falls apart. The world falls apart.
Yes. Well, that's so accurate. I mean, even nowadays, we don't even know what's true history or what's false, because we are witnessing, even over the past couple of years, look at what they've been destroying history. They've been rewriting what people want to say. That for the people with the 45 that I want to have control over the information of what is being shared with the collective. I want to have control over what is written and how it's written, and
oh my God, yes,
and who it's supposed to be said to. So
gate 33, the I Ching 5,400 years ago called it the gate of retreat, because they noticed that the listener would continually retreat. It wouldn't always tell the story. That's because the timing has to be right. This is articulation. If you articulate and speak out of turn, the other isn't listening. Or worse, they get the wrong idea.
Oh my God. I can see that expressed with me. Sometimes I get irritated when people speak out of turn, because I have the channel for the gate of listening.
Right.
So I'm listening and other people will speak, and then I'll get agitated because they're speaking out of turn.
You have the whole channel of the prodigal, Jen?
No, I don't think I have the prodigal.
Well, do you have the 13 in your body graph too? Oh, so you have the 33. So this voice, it's a powerful voice, and it's so powerful that it needs to retreat. Don't forget, this is the dead ending point of the full collective experience of the human experiential abstract process. It's got a big job. It's putting together all kinds of stuff. It has to retreat. It has to physically go away, because it's not there to just speak all the time. Gate 20 is there to speak all the time. If there's something worth speaking, gate 45 is there to speak all the time. If there's a fun experience happening, gate 35 is there to speak all the time. 56, you can hardly shut it up sometimes. It's got plenty of stimulating stuff to say. Gate 33, retreat, It's much like gate 12. But gate 33 is a collective process. It shares, and it's not willing to share until the timing is right. So if you have a gate 33 and you notice what you share isn't being taken in, recognize it's not the right timing. You lost track somewhere of your strategy and authority. You're a generator that tried to manifest and initiate because you thought you wanted it to be that way, and the other wasn't open. You're a manifestor that didn't recognize the impact, and the other person isn't listening, but they're stuck in your impact zone. So, you can apologize to them later. If you're a reflector, you're probably not even running into this, except when it's activated by the moon cycle. And if you're a projector, don't be bitter that it was the wrong timing and the other's not recognizing you. Your strategy and authority would have pointed out, hey, you know what? I don't even feel invited here. Why did I start talking? I tried to talk. It's not I try or not. That's gate 12. That's gate 12 business. Gate 33 isn't here to try. It remembers. And it's it's retreat, the gate of privacy, active withdrawal and transformation of a weak position into a strength. If you're trying to transform a weak position, the collective history, into a strength, the collective narrative by which everyone else is now going to remember, because it is the gate of memory, I remember, then you have to wait for the right timing. And in the meantime, you retreat. That's what the retreat is. I retreat out of telling the story and recounting the past and being the prodigal. I have to wait for the right timing. And the I Ching noticed that as retreat, step away, privacy. We call it the gate of privacy. It's like, I don't know if I remember. It's I remember or not. I don't know. I don't remember. So, and again, it's love language would be let your partner forget sometimes what they did or what they didn't do. Didn't you remember? It's my birthday today. Listen, if it's the 5th year in a row and you really got a beef about your partner forgetting your birthday, and that's a game breaker, a deal breaker for you, okay. But while you're getting up to that point, I remember or not. So another love language would be as they remember, allow their memory to come through because it's pouring through at a timing. Allow yourself to be the right timing pad for that gate 33. Allow it once in a while and explain to your partner, hey, I'm actually allowing this. I'm not always interested in it. And if they're going to love you back, they're going to have to recognize that, wow, you're going out of your way to be interested, even though you're not really all that interested in that particular moment. Recognize what an amazing feat that is. What a gift. Because the person hearing gate 33 might not be in the mood for it. They're not there. Hey, I'm putting my bicycle together. I'm not listening, So that's gate 33. I remember or not. So this is a voice. If you have a gate 33, I believe, I remember, I think, I don't remember. It's I remember or not. I have memory or not. And that's a voice that comes out of you. I love gate 8. Moving on. Well, last thing about 33, again, all these gates on the right-hand side, except for 12 and 45, are abstract, experiential, collective. They are collective. I share what I remember. So let me share what I remember. They have to share it. Gate 8 in the body graph, gate on the bottom of the throat, is called contribution. When it connects to gate 1, it's the channel of inspiration. And this channel down to the G center is where inspiration is suddenly contributed into the world beyond limitation. It's the ability to express the creative, unique patterns that came out of and uniqueness that came out of gate 1, which says, I am creative beyond limitation. I am creative, independent of will, independent of ego. It takes that and it says, you're so creative, I just want to contribute. Gate 8 and gate 23, gate 8 most of all acts, of all the collective gates, I would say it acts almost the most like a collective gate. Let me say that again. Of all the individual gates, gate 8 acts the most like a collective gate, or very much like one, because it can't get its expression out until it's contributed it to someone else. So what is gate 8 trying to express? I'm going to the book for all of these. Holding together. Sounds a lot like gate 45, gathering together. But this is holding together. The basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals. Gate 8 knows its individual, unique, mutative pulse that came through as a creative insight, a creative moment. Its creativity is lost if we don't name it and share it with someone else and contribute it. Gate 8 is simply hungry to contribute. I'll help you with that. I got that. Now we might look at that as a gate 29 that just wants to say yes, or an open ego that doesn't want to seem, unworthy or valueless, or a lot of things, or a 35 that just wants to experience. But gate 8 is no, focus, razor focus. I have a contribution. It came out of me. Let me contribute it to you. And what's it trying to do more than anything? It's what all the individual gates in the throat do. I would like to mutate you. Let me change you. Let me physically bring something new that you'll either accept or not. Let me mutate and change and bring something new and contribute it to group goals. So this gate 8 is collective sounding. It's wicked tribal sounding, right? Hey, let me contribute to the tribe. In fact, the tribe expects all its members to contribute, period. So gate 8's
Yes, in one way, shape, or form. Everyone has a purpose, everyone has a duty, and everyone brings something to the tribe as a whole. It's
a hunger to contribute. I mean, it just wants to contribute. And if it can't contribute, the depression that comes along with all of that says, I'm sad and melancholic because I've got nothing to contribute. No one accepts my contribution.
Yeah.
I can't make a contribution. And think about all the things this has driven when that unique individual kid comes running along with their uniqueness and they got a gate 1 and their mom has a gate 8 or dad, and suddenly they want to contribute everything they just learned. Look what I found. They want to contribute. Look what I made. They want to contribute something, so it's about contribution. And this realizing it's for group goals has a foundation that says truthfulness, the truthful acceptance of the limitation and the recognition, but it's hyphenated, the recognition, meaning doing it again in your mind, that can only be transcended through sharing. So this awareness that I can't contribute unless I can share. Its voice just says, I contribute or not. I contribute or not. What's that say? I can or not. I can contribute.
I can.
Yeah, that voice is actually, I contribute or not. Because it's individual, it's part of manifesting individuality. I can contribute or not. I know I can contribute or not. I have a contribution to make here or not. So if you have a gate 8 in your throat center, again, defined or not, you have a voice that wants to contribute. It speaks in language that is trying to make its contribution. It starts offering things. Follow your strategy and authority to get the right timing for all of that. Everything in the throat is about the timing because everything in the throat is about articulating.
Yes.
So 11 gates all having everything to do with the timing. And you can't know the right timing unless you're following your strategy and authority, because you'll lose track. Your busy mind will take you over. Your open ego will take you over. Your spleen will make you hold on to things that aren't good for you. Your open root will make you feel under pressure to contribute.
Yeah, I was just about to say, make you feel under pressure.
Yeah,
I'm dealing with that.
I figured it out. Let me contribute this right now. Well, the timing wasn't right. It was a funeral, Dan. No one wants your contribution. Please allow the dead to rest, and then you can contribute at lunch later when we all get together and commune in remembrance over the contribution of our, deceased, family member, whatever. So the love language of gate 8, that's real easy. I mean, just think about it. It's here to make a contribution. What would the love language be of gate 8? It seems pretty obvious. I would like to contribute my love to you. Let me contribute my mutation to you. Let me contribute this to you. And it can get old. Stop contributing. I'm not in the mood for your contribution right now. So if you or your partner have this gate 8 and they have this electric excitement that it's part of the cross of contagion after all. Is it part of the cross of contagion? 14 and 8. Yeah, it's part of the cross of contagion. It's here to be contagious. What does it say? It says that after we remember, after we ruled, after we articulated, after consciousness, after it was stimulating, make the contribution. Make that contribution and it will become contagious like wildfire. Contagion is meant to take off like wildfire. You know who's on the cross? Esther, who we've talked to a couple times. Cross of contagion. And her 14 and her 8 are her personality, sun and earth, as I recall. Contagious, just contagiousness. And when that contribution is right, it's contagious. Oh my God. We didn't know how to make anything. We couldn't make the stuff grow in this field, and along came this person, and they had a contribution. It's contagious. Every farmer in that valley will pick up that mutation and change their way. Everyone, because it will sweep like wildfire. That's what contagion does. It's meant to be contagious. And that's what the unique individual expression of this unique individual way is. I can contribute this or not. The final one, this one is hard to understand sometimes because it's about influence. Gate 31 is another one of, it's on the channel of the alpha. This is part of the cross of the unexpected. And it's because influence is an unexpected thing. We don't always know if we'll be influential or not. And it's part of Gate 31 with touch 7, which is the army.
Just going to say the other side is 7.
Is 7. And this channel of influence, this channel of the alpha, it's a design of leadership. And the reason it's so confusing is because Gate 31 just wants to become influential and have its influence be heard. But it's in a collective stream. It's in the collective circuitry, the logical, calculated, cool, logical collective stream of circuitry. Circuitry itself. So what do we know about the collective, that overriding keynote? Let me share this with you. So it says that in our 9-centered human construct, we're not here to take leadership like 45 used to in the past. 45 was always the authority period. Do what I say, I'll cut your head off. Gate 31 has to be elected. It has to be a social construct where it has to be shared. And if it's not in the right timing, the others aren't picking up what you're trying to share, you can't be influential with them. What happens is when we become influential, that's unexpected. We never think of ourselves as fully influential. We always have our all the things that we're not. We can't tell fully how influential we are when suddenly, unexpectedly, in this cross configuration, it would be the unexpected leader that showed up. You know who's on the cross of the unexpected? Bill frickin' Gates.
Oh,
the
imagine
unexpected influentialness. Now, what does he have to do to keep his influence going? Has nothing to do with sharing and living out this design of leadership and the alpha. It has nothing, and he doesn't have the whole channel of the alpha. So he's always wanting for the Gate 7 on the other side, and he doesn't have it. It's a huge not self theme for him. So what does he do for all of his influence? He buys it. Is that influence if you've purchased it?
No.
In the 7-centered construct, that was sort of, because they ruled with fear and threat and, of course, purchasing. But in our world, that's not influential.
No, not at all. Not in our world now, because they've done so much purchasing. That's how they've been able to take over and manipulate and everything else that they do.
Right. So in its healthy expression, Gate 31 is I am influential when the timing is right or not. Let me read what it is. Again, our old 7-centered way is still with us, like an old hangover that we're still trying to shake off. And that old 7-centered way, when we were 7-centered bodies, was everything about hierarchies, authoritarianism, rulership, all that stuff was alive and well. Deceit, all the stuff, murder.
Oh yeah, it never really left. It just went underground, guys, and they have learned how to manipulate it in disguise.
As this generation dies off, Jen, it will start to leave us. Our genetic construct won't allow it if we're lucky.
It is starting to die off. That's why we're seeing so much stuff happen in the collective at the moment.
Yeah. It's just really sad what happens when what is supposed to be influential and influence, and it's there to be shared, is no longer shared. It's purchased, or it's hammered into place, or it's forced. This channel of the alpha, everyone, if you're with a pack of dogs, the alpha channel is the 1 and the 8, the individual unique expression of that wolf. That'll be the alpha. Mammals have a design, a 15-gate matrix. So that'll be the alpha, but the alpha in humanity, because we're meant to commune, is shared influence. So basically, this person is what?
I was looking up the animal totem for
Oh.
45 and 31.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have time to do all the animals. I would love to know
But
the
the
animals.
31 is lion, and that makes sense.
That's a
And
good
45 would be the gorilla. So I can
so
see
flipping
that.
funny. I love that.
I
Can you read
can
a little
see
bit of
that.
31?
31 is the lion.
Would you read a little bit of that? Can you?
Yeah. You want me to read the animal totem part or the human design? The
Oh,
the
there's a
animal.
human design part?
Yeah. Well, it's got the I Ching human design, and it does kind of pull in the gene keys. But I'll read the animal totem for
Okay.
31. Lion is a signal of leadership and guidance. This type of guidance, unlike the owl, deals in the influence of direction and manipulation of a group trajectory. This type of traditional depicted leadership presents as a person using a strong character and voice to steer a community. It is an initiation to receive lion medicine. It is a call to balance, manipulate, and master the masculine and feminine powers of your being as you are drawn into an influential position. This meaning of the lion totem correlates to the visual language of the tarot, wherein the lion is featured predominantly in the 12th archetype strength. Oh, wow. That's my life path card. The strength archetype restrains the lion effortlessly, representing a mastery of male and female energies in an internal as well as external balance. Lion medicine is a potent indicator that you are headed into entering a leading position. Now is the time to be aware of the way in which you want to receive others, exert your authority, target your goals, and hold responsibility. It is through truth and open mind and dynamic interplay of the inner push and pull currents that you will have the greatest success in the position of power for which you are heading.
This is, I mean, it's good stuff, and I like that the lion's there, and the voice of this is what does that say down there? Yeah, it's
I
just
lead.
Yeah, that would be the right voice. So it's I lead or not. I am leading or not. This voice of this 31 is the voice that will say, "Hey, go this way." That's basically the offer to share the leadership of what direction to move in the future. And that's what the collective logical circuitry is all about. It's all about understanding of where to go in the future, and it's the lion is a great symbol for this. But think about what this channel does as a head trip. The channel of the alpha. People have this channel of the alpha. They might think that they're the alpha. You're not the alpha. You're not the alpha in the traditional sense. The alpha in the old way was the lead man, the head man, the boss, the controller. Our alpha these days is that which is shared. It becomes the group as the alpha. And the alpha is just at the tip of the spear in that moment. The gate 31, since it's shared, it's meant to be shared with everyone else. Hey, I'm leading right now, but as soon as someone else can share the most logical way for the continuation of this direction into the future, they will lead, even if they don't have a gate 31. So 31's the head trip that can come along with this is I'm supposed to be leading. I'm supposed to be influential. I'm supposed to be this way. No one's listening to me. I can't share this, leading to a frustration, leading to an anger, leading to a bitterness, a resentment, a disappointment, you name it. All of these things, it's I lead or not, I can lead or not, I might lead or not. It depends if the timing is right. Is the other hearing you? Have you shared and they're not picking it up? That's your indication to know that that's not really what's for you. It's the gate of influence, leading. The law of friction, whether active or passive, that the friction between people, that engenders transference and thus influence. Leadership is meant to be transferred. our current way we go through presidents, for instance, or go through Congress people. They keep transferring. The authoritarians say, that's crazy. Look, it's so inefficient. I make a rule in China and everyone has to follow it the next day. Not here. Here, the struggle and the effort is actually a logical process that chooses the next leader each time, and they have to pass the torch. It's a broken ass Skippy record version. It's trying. When it cleans up a lot, it'll be nice and smooth. But right now, it's just intermittent. It's not working very well because people don't like to pass the torch.
They don't.
Yeah. Bill Gates could pass the torch over and over again. He's got plenty of torch to pass. In fact, all that money in his endowment, which is fake money in the first place, could basically change the face of the world if you just handed it out to all the people. Whenever someone gets rich enough, they should literally just, when I say should, if they had a communal sense of it all, they could carve out half of it or 2/3 of it and literally just spread it out amongst the people so that their creative uniqueness can do what all these manifesting and throat gates are trying to do. This 31 has the transference of influence is paramount, and influence cannot exist in a vacuum. A lot of these throat voices are aware that what they are can't exist in a vacuum. They need to be shared and or in communion with the other. You can't transfer inside of a place where no one is listening. You can't be influential in a place where you're not basically recognized as someone who can be influential in that moment. You're not meant to be the influential alpha at all times. In the 9-centered form, the alpha is a passing of a torch process. In the 7-centered draconian, where 45 ruled the roost everywhere, there was no passing of a torch except to your eldest born son. There was no sharing of leadership. It says leadership is to be shared. It's collective.
Yep. They dictated who it was going to be shared with. That's why they kept it that's why the bloodlines is so important. This is why they're doing stuff to mess up our DNA for the simple fact that they want to keep their blood as pure as possible. There's so much power within the blood and the bloodlines. That's why they have passed it down generation to generation. And even like when you get into, we'll talk about presidencies. There was a girl, she was a young girl who actually did the family trees of starting with our presidents, and lo and behold, a lot of them are related. A lot of them are related to royalty. This is where they've just been
all but one. Jen is what
all but one.
Her attestation was all but one. She didn't say the one.
Yes, so that tells you something.
Yep.
They've actually most of our presidents were put into power for a specific reason. I'll just drop that nugget.
It's and they all harken back to the same few families, really.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, and so those bloodlines travel because the law of tribalism is you pass your leadership, your possession. Basically, 45, I possess, and I pass my possession on to the eldest born son, the patriarchal eldest born son, period, unless that son dies. There's no other sons, and then that's a problem. But so gate 31's love language is, I'm not sure, help me out with this. If it's here to be influential, it's here to be shared. Leadership is a shared process. Being an alpha is a communal effort leading towards the future. This love language of 31 that expresses I lead or not is, I'm not sure how to express this.
I want to lead with you.
Yes. Share this direction of leadership into our collective future together. Share it with me.
Yes. I would say that's how.
Yeah. Sure.
If someone wants to lead, I want you, like you're my wingman.
Yeah.
I want you to come with me.
Right. So 2 gate 31s in the same partnership, that's funny. Allow yourselves to bounce back and forth and share the leadership. Share this direction. It's not leadership, again, like authority. It's about navigating a direction. This
Right.
is
And some people just possess that energy and they're good at it. That's what they're designed to do. So
yes, and when you're with the right people, they will naturally defer to your ability to then basically turn it into something that is influential. The natural expression of leadership and or the unnatural expression of leadership.
well, I
That
mean, outside of this gate, there's other gates that possess that quality too. I mean, like not everything with the 45 manifests in the negative sense or wanting
absolutely
to.
no, it's not
That's
the
the not self theme of it.
right. Right.
And what is the not self theme of the 31 again?
Well, the not self theme would basically be an unnatural expression of leadership, the leadership that one tries to control and take rather than enter into through a collective sharing process.
Correct. Yeah.
So
but we are moving out of the dominating of, possessing the tribe or the information or the certain aspects of, like, to keep other people suppressed. That matriarchy is definitely falling down, where we're seeing and we're coming into new energies where people are really there's gonna be a lot of leaders that step up, and I bet you they have a lot of, like, 31, 45, and some of the other leadership gates that's more in a service to others, building with the tribe.
the right alpha is here to lead everyone else with it and fully
Yes.
share the full embodiment of what communion is. Everyone went to church. You remember communion. Communion is not just a ceremony, obviously. It is where we share ourselves with the other. I mean, there's so many collective gates. There's so many of them. It riddles through everything.
Yes, I got something. I got another police on the communion.
Everyone's got some collective gates. Yeah.
It is about communing with other people. Sorry for the background noise, guys.
Nope, I get it. So then if I just go around the horn of the throat to wrap it all up, I am now enthusiastically with all the details, and trust me, I can explain it to you in a stimulating way that brings a really cool experience that I feel I want to have, that I happen to be in the mood for, so I know I can instead of not, that I seem to have the right material for, so I feel good, and I'm sharing with the whole tribe what I remember, what I can contribute, and the influence it will have on our direction. That's the throat. I started at 20 and I went around.
I know, you did a great job.
Oh, that was fun, actually.
Yeah, that should be like a small little recording. You should do maybe I can clip
Reel.
that. Yeah, that would be a great reel, actually.
Oh, neat, Jennifer. Thank you. Yeah.
There
We'll
goes.
do more reels when we're in the same proximity. I'm certain I'll suddenly have the desire to like record this or record that. Jennifer, let me share my recording with you.
Now that you say that, yes. So we didn't mention at the beginning of the show, but me and Dan are taking HDA to Roswell, New Mexico. So that may be something that we could do there too.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'll be in. I'm already excited to go. So there'll be lots of we'll both be able to get some stuff done while we're there. But either way, we should have mentioned at the beginning of the show that we will be at Roswell, New Mexico at the UFO Expo. Yes. So I'll make sure to include that link if you're in Roswell, near Roswell, you want to come down and see us personal. We'd love to meet you. So
that'd be great.
That is March. We are going March 10th. Yeah, well, we're flying in the 9th, but it's the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. So
look at that. Right around the corner.
I know. Super excited.
Let's make sure we both ask our pilots where their EKGs came in at. Of course. Get on the plane.
Please don't start saying that.
Show me your EKG, pilot man. Tell Big Tree went over how to read that on one of his shows. It was great.
Yes. Well, guys, you did an excellent job. Dan, thank you so much for that. And for those of you who tuned in, thank you for doing that. As always, please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. Share this out if you know somebody that would benefit from it. And we'll discuss who to do on Wednesday, since it is Valentine's Day this week. And it was 2:14 on the timer.
Oh my God.
So
This
we'll
synchronicity.
look into, maybe we can do some interesting couple.
It would be interesting, Jen. Yeah, an interesting couple.
Yeah, we'll get to looking at that. If you guys have any suggestions, please make sure to drop them in the comments and we'll check them out. But before we do pop off here, I just like to make a little note. There's a lot of interesting activity out there that's happening. If anything does happen, like, kind of crazy or out of the norm, or what seems to be out of the norm, you guys just make sure you stay safe and don't follow the narrative. I have lots of interesting things coming up to the surface. So,
Well, we're moving into gate 30 as the sun transit. And as that moves in, that's the clinging fire. So we'll be clinging to the fire of the feelings. I hope that's right. Let me check my wheel.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Is that right? Are we we just did 49 yet? We're moving into gate 30. We are moving into gate 30, and that is going to bring what is gate 30? The cross of, give me a sec. That's part of the cross of contagion. That's right. 30 and 29. So it is contagious to cling to the feeling, to commit to the process, to contribute the committing to that process, and to drive the direction of it, to have all the sacral fuel to do it. So we're moving into the cross of contagion, I believe tomorrow. Gate 30, clinging fire. Let me have the feeling. Let's hope it brings the right contagion onto the planet, Jen.
A revolution.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's well, that's why I'm making just, lots of crazy stuff happening. Don't follow the narrative.
If I could point out, the nodes of the moon have shifted into, as they shifted backwards, they are bringing risk taking. So risk taking into the revolution, risk taking for what we care for, about what revolution there will be.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to contribute that tomorrow when that comes along, and we'll have a nice gate 8 connect. You will too. We'll both have gate 8 connecting our gate 1s.
Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make a contribution, Jen. And this was wonderful. Thanks.
It was wonderful. Thank you guys for everybody who tuned in, and we will see you on Wednesday. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Yep. See you later, everyone.